dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
And you're back on Liberty Nation Radio. I remain your host, Mark Angelides, and Jim Fite remains Jim Fite, editor-at-large over at libertynation.com. Thanks for being...
at least.
Yeah, and thanks for sticking around. So we talked about the One Big Beautiful Bill and Trump's further agenda that we could title, if you remind me of what that is again?
The bigger, more beautiful bill.
Yeah, there you go. That is... You should put up a website for that, Jim, and then set it on when ready. So that's what we discussed what we think might be in such a bill. But coming into next year, and things are really starting to heat up already, is the 2026 midterms. Now, Jim, what do you think each party's going to be campaigning on? I suggested earlier in the show that maybe Donald Trump would be campaigning on the bigger, more beautiful bill, whatever shape that takes. Right. Not for him, but saying that you have to get Republican senators and representatives reelected to get this bill through, and that will be his pitch, I think. What do you think Democrats are going to be offering?
Well, there's the old standbys of abortion access.
Sure.
And immigration. But Democrats, a lot of the Democrats have seemed to have kind of reversed on immigration a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they still want reform, but they're at least saying they're ready to start backing border security, which is interesting. And also possibly a point that Trump and the other Republicans can lean on to say, kind of like, hey, we told you so moment. But I kind of come back to the idea of this, like the Nope Act, for example, this narrative that the left has been pushing here lately after the murder of Charlie Kirk, of course, especially, that the Trump administration is applying pressure to get rid of sort of political enemies, if you will, like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and anyone who has lost their job after disagreeing with Trump. Of course, it was because the administration applied, they put the thumb down and the company caved. That's going to be their narrative.
Sure.
But I could see that being a big talking point in the midterms of like, now all of a sudden, instead of being, they're going to kind of shy away from the idea of being the statist party and more of like, hey, in a way that's always been their narrative. We're the ones for looking after the little guy. But I think they might really kind of dig down in that and sort of tout themselves as the party of individual liberty.
Yeah, it's here's the thing. Wouldn't it be great if voters of all stripes judged whom they voted for based on this is the person protecting the constitutional rights? I mean, I think the Constitution and the Republic would be far, far stronger if voters of all stripes said, looked at the candidates and thought, which one is best for constitutionally protected rights?
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir on that one, Mark.
Yeah.
And treading very dangerously close to triggering a soapbox moment here. I am I am kind of famously not, for people that know me, not a card-carrying member of any party, and I don't vote party line. When election time rolls around, I look into all of the candidates that are available for me to vote for. I'm not really concerned at that point with anyone else. And I look at, have they held office before? Great. What's their voting record look like? Because that's public information.
Sure.
Where do they stand on these issues in interviews and their voting record? And, the result, I say kind of nominally, it's not about what party they are. Now, because I hold certain beliefs, the end result is I end up voting for the people from the same parties, but
yeah,
and not the other. But yeah, if everyone would vote on the actual performance of the politicians and the platform, like what is the party actually saying it's gonna do, instead of just relying on, well, I'm a Democrat, so I got to vote for these guys, or I'm a Republican, so I got to vote for these guys, or, well, I heard on the radio ad that so-and-so said such and such, so I guess I'm voting for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. it's tough, isn't it? Because such a such a way of voting, and this is a way a lot of people vote, but I think, but they do it based on, I would say not whole cloth information, because
Yeah.
you have people who say, I'm not saying this is the Democrats going into 2026, but if they a party or a candidate that's going out there saying, hey, I'm here to protect your First Amendment rights by standing up for Jimmy Kimmel, and he got fired because of the Trump administration. That sounds like a good free speech argument, right? As long as you don't dig into the details, and you think, well, free speech, First Amendment, that's somebody who respects the Constitution.
Yeah, at surface level, it makes a great soundbite.
And I think, this is almost certainly true of I don't want to say a majority, because I don't know, but many Republicans and many Democrats going in who are either up for re-election or running for the first time to win a seat in either house, in either chamber, that they're all going to be making the case that they are the best defense of your constitutional rights. And even when they're on opposite sides. And so either one of them, at least, is lying to you. Or at worst, they're both lying to you.
I like that you said at least, because they can't both be telling the truth, but they can absolutely both be lying.
Yeah.
It is a possibility.
Yeah, it's like the two doors where you can ask one question of each of them.
Right.
One lie. But yeah, here's the situation. They could both be lying. So what you end up with is an onslaught of information that much of it is likely false, much of it is sound bites, much of it is aided by the spin of the media, both sides, both sides of the aisle. They're always pushing for their guy or gal or them. I'm not sure what they're
whatever.
Yeah, Zer. They're pushing for their Zer. There's Zer. No, well, we're getting the there in there as well. There's Zers. So they're always pushing for their individual ones. So the onslaught of misinformation that you end up with is mountainous in so many ways. So even if somebody thinks that they are, and I could be guilty of this myself, as could you. Even if we think that we're doing like the right research, finding out who best represents, not me, right? I'm not an American citizen. I can't vote.
Hypothetically, if you were.
Hypothetically.
Right.
I get all this information, and I think that I'm voting for the candidate that best represents the chance for protecting the republic, strengthening the Constitution, and essentially looking down the path of freedom and liberty and saying that's where we're going.
Yeah.
We could all be wrong because of the misinformation. Well, not just misinformation, just the lenses through which we look.
That's why I always advocate. Absolutely. And absolutely look at what the candidate and the party says they're going to do. But ignore the TV commercials, ignore the radio commercials, ignore the celebrity endorsements. None of that matters. That's all just election.
They're addressing, yeah.
And so if your candidate that you think you might be voting for has never held office before, all you can do is look at what the candidate says and what the party says. But that's why for anyone who's already held office, the fruits of their labor is public information. Find it. There's not a lot of way to spin that. There can be some, but you start looking at vote tallies and, okay, well, you voted for this and you voted against that, and just look at where you personally align on it. And that's the best advice I could give any voter is look at, for the ones who've already held office, look at what they voted on last time, because that's what they're going to support this time.
Jim, wise words indeed. Thanks ever so much for being here.
Been a pleasure, Mark.
We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.